He does.
I'm out.
Oh crap, we are live. Sorry. Well, I guess we'll start now. Hi guys.
Hello.
I was not actually ready, but so we're using Streamlabs and it's got a little bit different interface. Sorry if you got to see me do anything weird.
Sorry for my horny jail bonk
Yep.
thirst.
Gonna
On
bonk you. All right, so we are with the new setup. Things are going to be a little weird, so again, if you either can't hear us or if something weird's going on, just let me know. I can actually pull out the stream now. Okay, good. I'm not going to be watching it so that you can actually read what's going on, but I can read the intro, which is pretty good because I was trying to remember what the hell we did last time. It's been a bit.
Yeah. Oh, there is a recap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we have our recap. Last time on 428 Shibuya Scramble, Stanley told Kano about Kanan committing murders and war crimes. Fair. Osawa learned that Tanaka's condo is part of the kidnapping plot. Yep, and then he spiraled hard. Yeah, it did not go well for him. This poor man has had so many breakdowns. Let's see. We stopped Kano from accidentally getting Osawa to turn himself in for the pandemic, except for we haven't yet because he's still at a bad end for some reason. So, but he does have some jumps, so I'm wondering if we just need to get a little bit further. Let's see. And shortly after the Parent Trap switch got resolved and we wanted to propose to Hitomi, who might have the antiviral drug for recycling. I mean, look, if you find yourself a gal that can recycle and is passionate about it, you gotta put a ring on it, man.
Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway.
So
there's my rendition.
Yeah. Shall we? Okay, so we can either. I think that we have an Osawa jump that will unlock Kano. We haven't done anything with Minorikawa this time.
Yeah.
So who do you want to do?
How's he holding up?
Or Minorikawa? Because remember, his computer is broken.
Oh yeah, let's fix the man's computer like my soul.
All right, laptop's busted. What the fuck do you mean?
Yeah.
Please excuse me as I drop water all over myself.
No! Don't drop water on yourself. Minorikawa's cry of despair echoed through the cafe. His laptop monitor stared back at him, black and empty, like my soul. Don't you die on me, buddy! He shoved his finger sharply at the screen. Probably in a comedic way. But the computer gave no response, looking well and truly dead. What the hell? Minorikawa pounded his fist on the table. This would be a worst-case scenario, even if he weren't desperately pressed for time. Guess I'll just have to write by hand then. Ew! He rummaged around inside his bag and pulled out a notebook, like a champ. I can still do this, he shouted, doing his best to psych himself up for the task ahead. I will still do this.
I'm glad he decided to do this in the middle of a busy cafe.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, sir?
The waitress appeared timidly beside him. What? Minorikawa snapped, his pen still flying across the paper.
Sir, if you could please quiet down.
My damn computer just broke. I'm allowed to scream or two. Minorikawa was in no state of mind to be quiet. If it weren't for the deadline he was racing to meet, he'd probably have gone on screaming until he passed out.
Your computer is broken, you say?
The waitress peered at the monitor. Yeah, look. It just suddenly stopped displaying anything.
Could it be that, the battery is just dead?
Minorikawa sat bolt upright. Hey! Don't call me out of my shit! That's it! The waitress flinched as Minorikawa's finger jabbed towards her face. I hadn't considered that possibility. Hey, let me plug it in somewhere.
There's an outlet right there, sir.
She pointed at the outlet by Minorikawa's feet, making no attempt to hide her exasperation. Oh, technology. Minorikawa plugged in the power cable like an old grandma, and then the monitor sprang to life as normal.
Now that that's sorted, would you please be quiet, sir?
Don't talk to me. You're interfering with my writing. Minorikawa's fingers had already begun dancing across the keyboard. With a sigh, the waitress disappeared back into the kitchen. Clickety-clack. Oh yeah, now we're talking. His fingers picked up speed as he went about touch typing.
Touch typing is the act of typing at a keyboard without looking at the keys. The aspiration of computer novices everywhere. The typical method involves placing the index fingers on the F and J keys, with the middle ring and pinky fingers resting on the A, S, and D, or K, L, and semicolon keys to either side, from which all other keys are easily reached. With practice, a touch typist can instinctively hit the correct key every time without looking.
The pros and cons of surveillance cameras. Proprietor of outdated electronic shop oversees high-tech camera system. Bedlam at bogus weight loss drink sales demo. Bankrupted organizer remains undiscouraged. Now Minorikawa's spirits were riding high! His riding rolled along at a brisk pace. Damn it.
Sir?
It was the waitress again, her voice yanking Minorikawa right back to reality.
Sir!
Now what? Has the President of the United States agreed to give me a one-on-one interview? The waitress's eyes went white with confusion.
Huh?
Because unless it's something that important, do not speak to me right now. But she was undeterred.
Sir, please, if you could just be a little quieter.
Minorikawa's fingers ceased their rattling across the keys. Just what sound do you have a problem with? All I've been doing is writing a copy.
Well, for the last while, actually, you've been talking while you write, sir.
Talking? Minorikawa tilted his head in confusion.
Yes, sir. You've been talking about an electronics store and some bogus weight loss drink. I assume that's what you're writing about?
You're saying I've been narrating my copy aloud while I'm writing it?
That's right, sir.
Other customers sitting nearby were openly snickering. Tee-hee! Well, so what? He snapped. He was red in the face now. You should all be delighted that you get to hear what I'm writing before the magazine goes to print.
Well, actually, sir, one of our customers has been complaining.
Complaining? Of all the nerve! Who was it? Where are they? We don't know. Minorikawa scanned the other patrons, many of whom were unsuccessfully trying to hide their laughter.
It was me. Oh, hey!
What up,
It's
Gramp?
Daddy-in-law!
Daddy! It was a grumpy older fellow who'd been making a scene earlier.
Bogus diet fads, peeping security cameras, reminds me of that sleazy tabloid 4-star general gossip I hate so much.
Oh. So you're a fan? No, you sure seem to know a lot about it for something you hate so much. The man's face twisted up with scorn.
Your behavior is bothering everyone in here.
He said.
Do you not understand that?
No, I don't.
Because a reporter who writes nothing but nonsense prefers nonsense in everything he does.
Minorikawa could feel his blood boiling. What was that? Go on, say that again.
Oh, gladly. Nonsense, filth, codswallop, flim-flam.
My feelings are hurt. You bastard, how dare you! Minorikawa stormed over to the man's table. Flim-flam indeed!
Flim-flam is bogus or insincere content. Few things anger Minorikawa more than reporters using dishonest means to create a story. Having his own work, called flim-flam, would naturally make him blow his top.
Just who are you calling flim-flam? The other man stood up and glowered at Minorikawa's face. Wow.
You utterly lack any manners or sense of decency for starters.
I have plenty of manners and decency. Also, I happen to have a dead leg.
As if a flim-flam artist like you has a work ethic.
Bitch! Okay, stop calling me Flim Flam. The waitress inserted herself, between the two men.
Gentlemen, please, stop fighting. I demand that you remove this man at once.
The older fellow bang.
I don't know why I went British there. He's suddenly British.
Suddenly British, it's fine.
Fine.
Fine. He's the one you should be kicking out. Minorikawa shut back. He started it. But now he was ready to go to this guy's throat.
Please.
The waitress pleaded.
Both of you, return to your seats.
She grabbed onto Minorikawa and began to forcibly drag him back to his table.
Alright, first decision. Oh, it's too late for that. Are we gonna throw a punch? Or are we just going to calm down? Just as a reminder, this man is an ex-cop.
Right, let's not get hurt by accident by the ex-cop.
So we'll swallow our pride?
Yeah, I guess at this point. Okay, just calm down. Minorikawa did his best to swallow his pride. It's a hard pill to swallow. Whatever, he hoped. I don't have time for this anyway. He stalked back to his seat.
Bitch.
The other man snorted and sat down with a scowl.
Bitch.
Bitch. The bitch now, bitch. Okay, no. Yeah. So, oh my god, okay. The needless interruption, just when he'd finally gone into his writing mode, had all but killed Minorikawa's motivation. Decided he needed to take a breather.
Me after doing 3 seconds of work. I need a break now.
Same. Oh god, that's so relatable. He turned to the waitress. 1 spaghetti Neapolitan plate.
Spaghetti Neapolitan is spaghetti flavored with tomato ketchup. Neapolitan is a corruption of Neapolitan, though the dish itself has no connection to the Italian city of Naples, or Napoli. Rather, it originated as a menu item at a hotel in Yokohama shortly after World War II. There is also a spaghetti dish from Nagoya called Milanese, which likewise has no connection to the Italian city of Milan. Which, by the way, like, don't knock it before you try it. Spaghetti Napolitan is very tasty. It is. And it's very easy to make in Western society, too, because you probably have all the ingredients in your cupboard. But...
Oh. One day. You and me, fam. You and me, fam. Okay. One day. Anyway.
Ouch. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Whoever had to hear that, I'm sure that sounded really good in your ear.
No, actually, I went to, what was it, Jollibee's the other day. I know it's like a Filipino place, and it was like a sweet spaghetti or something. I don't know what they put in it, but whatever it was, I enjoyed that. It was good.
Good.
So anyways, I'll probably like it. I'm that kid. Hey, okay, so he might not have had a lot of spare time, but working on an empty stomach wouldn't do him any favors. While waiting for his order to come out, he decided to read back over the copy he had written so far. Dear diary. No. What?
Uh-oh.
When he looked back at the monitor, the screen was black yet again. Looking down at his feet, he saw that the power cable was now unplugged. Hey, what kind of cafe are you people running here? He shouted. He Karen'd. No. The waitress hurried over, looking combative.
Sir, you yanked that out yourself when you stood up earlier.
What? A likely story.
It's the truth, sir.
Minorikawa pointed at one of the customers sitting next to him. Is she telling the truth? Did I really yank my power cord out myself? The man nodded sheepishly. Oh. Fuck. Yeah, well, then that's the outlet's fault for being someplace where it unplugged so easily. Minorikawa squawked. Wow, that man is having a hard time. The waitress marched away, head held high. Thinking about her salary and how this ain't worth it.
This ain't worth it.
Just make sure that spaghetti's delicious, Minorikawa shouted after her. Do that and I'll consider us even. Oh, and load it with cheese. Lots of cheese. He plugged the power cable back in and then let out a heavy sigh. In all his writing fervor, he hadn't thought to save his work.
Always make sure to save your work to avoid losing data. Honestly, why is it that your computer only seems to freeze when you've forgotten to save your stuff?
Shit.
I know.
Ugh. He was probably going to have to rewrite most of what he'd done. Save. Always save,
uh, excuse me.
guys. Minorikawa looked up to see a young woman standing there.
I'm so sorry.
She said.
About my father.
She gave a tiny bow. Your father? Oh, that rude old man!
He's just a little worked up right now. Please don't pay him any mind.
So what, you're waiting on your boyfriend?
Huh?
The woman was taken aback. I happened to hear you two arguing earlier. Would have been about 2 hours ago?
Oh, I see.
An awkward, embarrassed smile came to the woman's face.
I thought he was going to ask my father for permission to marry me, so we've been waiting for him, but
But he hasn't shown up.
no, he must be really busy.
She cast her eyes down sadly. Minorikawa looked at him. Took a look. Wow, a better look at her. She was gorgeous. A woman with her looks wasn't something he saw every day. That was for sure. Say, would you mind talking with me for a bit? He asked.
Me? This is so sad, man.
I kind of need to turn my mood around here.
Well,
This is weird.
Okay. At least until my father gets back.
The woman cast an anxious look towards the restrooms.
I love how this man sat there, went, this lady has a boyfriend who hasn't shown up. Now's the time to take my shot.
Yep. Wow. Way to go, dude. What's your name?
Rumi.
She sat down across from him. Wait a second. Aren't you? Minorikawa appeared at Rumi's face. One of those twins that was chosen as Miss Midoriyama.
No, we know those twins.
Oh yeah. Rumi shook her head.
No, that's not me.
No. Oh, darn. Didn't think I'd be that lucky. He took a sip of his now cold coffee, which I would actually drink.
I do know the girls you're talking about, though.
Rumi said. Minorikawa spat out his coffee in surprise. Rumi squeaked in alarm as the spray splattered her face. Oh no, this is the worst.
I don't even like this view.
Right, but Minorikawa leaned in, unconcerned. You mean it? You really know them?
Yes.
Rumi replied.
You're talking about the Osawa twins, right?
She got out a handkerchief and wiped the coffee from her face as she spoke. This poor woman!
I know.
Oh. Osawa, huh? Minorikawa glanced down at the project proposal on the table. Sexy squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Minorikawa Academy, Maria and Hitomi Osawa. Bam. Yeah, that's it. Those Osawa twins. Nice.
I actually won Miss Midoriyama myself a few years ago. This year I served as one of the judges.
Oh, Minorikawa adopted a self-satisfied pose. Guess I really was born under the right sign to be a freelancer. This leads just come to me. Oh my god.
Sure.
Rumi muttered. Okay, let's talk basics then. Tell me what you know about these girls.
Well, I don't really know of them personally.
Rumi continued to dab the coffee on her face.
But now that you ask, I do remember hearing that they'd entered the contest separately.
Wait, separately? Now Minorikawa was a bit confused.
Yes, that's right. I'd assumed that they'd entered as a pair, but apparently not.
Wonder why. I mean, they're twins. Don't they look alike? Wear the same clothes, do everything together, and say the same things at the same time and stuff? Rumi chuckled and shook her head because, duh.
No, not at all. Besides, those two aren't identical. They're fraternal twins, she said. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Fraternal twins are twins who were born at the same time from two eggs that were fertilized separately. Fraternal twins do not share the same genetic information. They can differ in such characteristics as sex and blood type, though there are cases of fraternal twins resembling one another almost as closely as identical twins. Maria and Hitomi Osawa happen to look very closely alike, but they do not have the same blood type.
Oh, interesting.
Although, at a glance, they do look very similar. Still, how should I put it? They both give off a very different impression.
Hmm. Oh, now that sounds interesting. Mind explaining what you mean? Minorikawa opened his memo pad.
I talked to them briefly after the award ceremony. The older sister struck me as really energetic, but the younger one was more quiet and reserved.
Hmm. Minorikawa's investigative senses were tingling. I wouldn't figure a shy girl would want to enter a campus beauty contest.
Well, I suppose not, no.
Yeah. I don't suppose you got anything juicier? Minorikawa asked. Rumi frowned.
Would you like to just go and ask them yourself?
She said,
They don't live very far from here.
Whoa, hold the phone. Minorikawa could hardly believe that he had just fallen into his lap. The advanced info in the project proposal had mentioned the girls were students at Midoriyama, but hadn't given an actual address. We could talk to them directly now. That would be pay dirt. You know where they live?
Well, not exactly. I just heard that they lived in Shoto.
Aha! Shoto. That wasn't far away. A car or motorcycle could get there in like about 10 minutes. I'd be quicker than going to Midoriyama Academy and you'd be able to meet with the girls themselves. Ooh! Minorikawa flashed a quick look towards the restroom. It looked like Rumi's father had just gotten back. Oh shit.
Sorry.
Said,
I should be going.
oh, no problem. And thank you. Rumi gave him a quick nod, then hurried back to her seat. Pour coffee. Just all over her face.
I know.
Damn. Minorikawa grabbed a directory from the public phone and flipped through the pages like a stalker. To his surprise, there were only 5 listings for the name Osawa with addresses in Shoto. There was neither a Maria nor a Hitomi, but he hadn't expected there to be. He just needed to find their parents. Wasting no time, he called up the first Osawa on the list.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Oh no.
No.
Well, now we know what happened with the call.
Bingo! Minorikawa couldn't help but pump his fist in excitement. He had gotten the right place on his first try. Aw yeah, way to go, me! He committed the house number listed on the phone, book to memory.
Oh god.
Then the waitress reappeared with a disgruntled expression and Minorikawa's order of spaghetti Neapolitan.
Here you are, sir.
Ooh, oh, that looks
Look at all that cheese.
Holy shit. Oh, I want some. Damn. The pasta was piled high with an impressive amount of grated cheese. It looked almost like a miniature mountain of snow.
You did say lots of cheese, sir.
The waitress told him. She set down a canister of cheese and a bottle of Tabasco.
Tabasco is a sauce made by the US-based McIlhenny Company.
Yeah, something like that.
Consisting of hot peppers, green vinegar, and rock salt. Known for its distinctive spiciness, it can make spaghetti and pizza quite tasty with the addition of just a few drops. Tabasco also goes well with ramen and curry. Recommended for times when flavor is lacking a little punch. However, even 1 drop may be too much for those who can't handle spicy things. It's been claimed that Tabasco was first imported to Japan by a certain well-known former pro wrestler, but this story is untrue.
It's not true. Everything I know is a lie. Okay. Oh, this looks good, Minorikawa exclaimed. He twirled some spaghetti with a fork and shoved it into his mouth. Then the slightly sour sweetness of the ketchup blended perfectly with the mellow flavor of the cheese. Oh, that is tasty. There was nothing like satisfying grub to lift up the spirits. He turned back to the laptop, still wolfing down the spaghetti. Alright, we're back to the action. Let's do this! Yet again, he unthinkingly blurted his words out loud as he slipped back into writing mode. I've got this. I've got this. I got this, man. With ketchup smeared around his mouth, he set his fingers tapping away at the keys. Waitress let out another groan of dismay, and probably disgust. Let's be honest. Huh? Say something? You say something? Minorikawa glanced at her direction, but the waitress faked a smile.
No, sir. I don't think so.
Yeah? Well, then go away. You're distracting me. The moment he looked away, she cleared her fist in indignation. This lady is a whole ass mood, let me tell you. Ooh, like if I was her, I would be like, same. Wow. Anyway.
Nothing, sir. Good luck with your work, sir.
I don't need luck. I got this.
Gonna kill you.
he's jumping back and forth between the pasta and the computer. Minorikawa got to work on his copy once more. Before long, he was oblivious to every sound in the cafe around him. Please, girl, just hit him one time. One time. When he finally snapped out of writing mode, he glanced at his watch. It was 2:20. Well, shit. Almost time for him to head to his next interview. Better get a move on. Wow. Kimizuka's taxi came by just as Minorikawa was hurrying out of the cafe. Well, what a pleasant surprise, Minorikawa called out. Nice timing, my man. Kimizuka's startled look quickly vanished behind an expression of professional resignation.
Do you need a ride, sir?
Oh, you know it, Minorikawa replied. First, head to Shoto. After that, I'll need to get to Sakuragaoka.
Sakuragaoka.
Yay! I did it. As he cast his gaze out at the signs of the city, Minorikawa mulled over his plan for the next part of the day. First, he'd interview the Miss Midoriyama girls, then he'd meet with the head of that theater troupe, in order to leave himself enough time to write his copy. That meant I'd like to get this all wrapped up in 20 minutes, he said. Can you make that happen? Kimizuka's flashed a grin.
That will incur a special fare, sir.
Oh, shit. Oh, special. Minorikawa said as he got settled in the seat. I love that word. Kimizuka stepped there. Then they were off and stuff. Shibuya was a town of contrast. It was a town of young people, unpretentious, energetic. The Scramble intersection and the center guy perfectly conveyed that vibrancy. However, if one turned right at the 109 building and headed down Bunkamura Dori,
Bunkamura Dori.
Bunkamura Dori, yeah, the town's whole atmosphere changed. Oh, this is pretty. Shoto was one of Shibuya's, indeed, one of Tokyo's most upscale residential districts. Wherever one looked, there were stately manor houses, giving off an imposing air, sending the message that this was no place for the common folk. So we're so proud to be here. We're so happy to be here. Right. Here's fine. Ching, said Kimizuka probably. No, Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over. Oh my god. Wait, I can't even hear the music, but apparently they're like, what's with this sexy music? Is it sexy?
It is mildly sexy, yes.
Oh damn!
Are you
here we
telling
go.
me that taxis aren't sexy? Like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, come on. This is the sexiest taxi you've ever been
I
on.
think you guys need to, like, step up what you think is sexy, obviously.
What a sexy taxi music.
I
Mm.
couldn't even keep a straight face through that.
Kimizuka probably bangs in his taxi. I don't know what he does, but let's say he has some great taste in music.
Mhm.
Alright. Minorikawa directed Kimizuka to pull over. Wait, here for me, and I'll be right back. Hopping out of the taxi, he checked the nameplates of the nearby homes. Oh no, I have fear. One fear. No fear. Okay. Here we go.
Here we go again. Uh-oh.
Oh no. It is. Oh, there it is. Oh,
You good?
I'm back. Okay.
Hi.
He spotted a name. Yeah, he spotted a nameplate that read Osawa. Kenji Osawa, huh? The name nagged at him somehow. It had been in the back of his mind ever since he'd seen it in the phone book back at the cafe. Had he heard it someplace before? He walked up to the gate and pressed the button for the intercom. What up, peeps? No. Even the little chime it made up when he pressed it sounded elegant. Ding dong. Okay, Minorikawa waited, but there was no response.
I mean, we do know that at this point, Osawa is drowning in despair and possibly dying.
Neat. He looked at his watch. It was 2:30 now. His interview with Shinosuke Odai of the Wandering Angels was supposed to have started already.
Wandering Angels, Episode 3. With help from Shinichi Bando, Mondo was able to get out of his apartment. Then, when all of the players had finally assembled, the troupe proceeded with one last rehearsal before showtime. But again, tragedy struck. Mondo came down with food poisoning after eating his lunch. He was rushed to the hospital in an ambulance, and the Angels were once again lacking an actor for the key role of Shiro. Arai was on the verge of panic. Finally, however, he came up with a solution. Novice actor Takayama would take on the part. Continued in Episode 4.
Thanks. Guess we just have to climb the fence and trespass. Same. Still, he wanted to meet with the twins first, if it was possible.
Alright, are we gonna keep waiting? Or are we just gonna go head to the Wandering Angels?
Doesn't something bad happen if we do? Like if we actually talk to him?
I mean, we've never talked to him before, because, again, at this point, he's dying.
Right. Okay.
I mean, if we wait a little longer, I don't think he's ever gonna come out.
Right. So
it's up to you.
Okay, the Wandering Angels need us.
Alright.
says
So
Chad.
let's head to our next interview.
Oh well, I'll just have to come back later. Minorikawa decided he'd better get to his next interview. He started to get back towards the taxi. Hopefully he didn't get ditched. That would suck. The front door opened. A grim-looking man emerged, leading another man in handcuffs. Oh no.
Well,
Minorikawa was standing in their way.
pardon us.
The serious-looking fellow said. He gave Minorikawa a curt bow as he passed by. Minorikawa smelled the distinct odor of a scoop. Hey, does that guy live here? He asked. The man ignored him and he kept moving. But Minorikawa followed. He couldn't let this opportunity pass him by. Because he's nosy as fuck! Hey, wait up. Is that Mr. Osawa? With a grimace, the man pushed Minorikawa aside and hurried his handcuffed prisoner along. For a moment, Minorikawa wondered if he should just kept after them, but he decided against it. Whatever was going on here, he doubted he'd be able to get an interview with the twin girls right now. This had all been an unfortunate waste of time. He had no real choice but to head back to the next interview. Well, I mean, that's what we chose to do anyways. So who's winning now, bitch? Okay. A few minutes later, the rear tire skidded sharply as the cab came to a stop beside a different curb. The trip from Shoto to the theater in Sakuragaoka had taken almost no time at all,
Here we are, sir.
Kimizuka announced. Wow, that was fast. Still,
Oops.
Minorikawa was still
He was 5 minutes behind schedule. Sorry, I hit the wrong button.
Oh, no, you're good. 5 minutes. Oh yeah, he hoped he'd still be able to get to the interview with Odai.
And we have hit it.
But-
Keep out.
Oh shit, we did it. Hey, Osama Minorikawa, jump to my route so I can get out of this.
Yeah. Okay, well, we don't have a jump there, but I believe we can unlock Shinya Kano.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what this jump is going to make us do. Da-da-da-da. What are you talking about? Antiviral research. Detective. Da-da-da-da.
Oh. Da, 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 da. Yeah. We did it. Back to me.
Back to you.
Okay. Back to this boy. Alright. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi? Osawa let out a gasp.
What? What are you talking about?
I'm the one asking the questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Osawa's voice trembled as he spoke. Kano was sure he hit the nail right on the head. I know what this syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa.
Is it the virus? Is it him? Or is it he told me?
It's Hitomi?
Final answer?
Well, the virus. Technically, they want the virus. Yeah, they want the virus.
They want the
For sure.
antiviral.
But, oh.
Remember? He's developed the antiviral drug. They know where the virus is.
Oh, okay. So he told me. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
He told me.
He told me. Osawa remained silent.
Ooh, there's a jump there. Good to know for later.
Oh, there is. Oh, shit. Mr. Osawa, is everything alright? Are you lying to me? No. Oh, the line went dead. Oh, that's very rude. Guess that answers that well enough, Kano said as he put away his phone. Huh. Now it's clear why the criminals were after Hitomi. He saw an uneasy look on Stanley's face. Something on your mind? Kano asked. Stanley responded with a question of his own. As usual, Stanley!
If he told me it was carrying the antiviral, how were the criminals planning on getting it from her?
Kano thought for a moment. Well, taking her by force at the Scramble posed too high of a risk, he said. There were nearly 100 detectives there, and they must have guessed there would be. That's why they advised the briefcase relay. They wanted to abduct Hitomi somewhere away from the Dragnet's notice. This was the plan that all the signs seemed to suggest. But still, he added, I wonder how they managed to lead her away from the police protection. A look of revelation crossed Stanley's face.
All they need to do was convince her to go of her own accord.
But how? Kano asked. And then it came to him. He thought back to Hitomi's initial contact with Tariq al-Karawan. Give me your lunch money, punk. No, just before he'd taken the briefcase from her, the two had a brief conversation. It was possible Al-Karawan had given Hitomi some form of instructions then. Guess we're back to tracking down Al-Karawan again, huh? Kano could tell from the look on Stanley's eyes that he was going on the verge of saying something. Probably some remark about how Tatano had allowed Alcarwan to run free. Something like that. Right now, Kano wasn't going to argue the point. After this case was resolved, he discovered what Tatano's real motives were. And once he did, Stanley would eat his words and shut up. But in the meantime, we can't just wander around looking without any leads, he said. Oh wait, that's you, Tim. Right?
No, that's you.
Oh, that's me. Okay. Until we get more intel, let's see what we can do with the security cameras back in the precinct. Man in black. Okay. Numerous monitors shone down on the pair as they entered the Shibuya precinct surveillance room. Wow. Okay. Each showed an array of faces and individuals somewhere in Shibuya. Kano asked one of the operators to pull up Alcarwan's data on the screen. Oh, he likes sweaters! Okay, no. By selecting each of the faces on the monitors in turn, they could run comparisons to determine if anyone among them was Alcarwan.
In case anyone wanted to know, his birthday is February 15th, 1976.
1976?
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey. Also, he likes long walks on the beach, and he likes turtlenecks.
And he has previous offenses of drug possession.
Oh shit, well. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
We pulled up Alcarwan's Tinder profile, probably. Okay, one by one. The operator made his way through the faces. Assuming their target was still in Shibuya, there was a high likelihood they'd find him. I mean, look at that. You just gotta look for the angriest man. But the minutes ticked past and there was still no sign of him. Kano's tone grew more and more impatient as he directed the operator search.
Just calm down,
Stanley said. He set a hand on Kano's shoulders.
You keep wasting your energy when you don't need to.
Okay, Dad. That's just how I do things, Kano replied. I'm energetic because I care. He pointed out another face on the operator.
Well, you are setting yourself up for a short life.
Thanks, Stanley. With a sigh, Stanley sank into a nearby chair.
My brother was like you.
The American spoke so quietly that his words were barely audible. What happened to Bro? 10 minutes later, 10 minutes later, a man clad in black appeared on one of the monitors. The operator lined up his cursor. The comparison check confirmed that it was Alcarwan. Oh yeah, we found him. Yes! Kano is pumping his fist. It appeared that their quarry had was simply walking around, calm and composed. Kano radioed in Alcarwan's location to Kuze.
All units, intercept the suspect on the double.
Kuze ordered.
Kano will provide guidance using the surveillance monitors.
Oh yeah, they saw Alcarwan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. You were about to say something?
Well, I was sitting there going, I don't think that was my Kuze voice last time, but I am pretty sure I've had so many different Kuze voices that this man, like, just has multiple personality disorder or something.
It's fine. We all do that. It's fine.
There's too many voices, it's fine.
It's okay, we all hear voices in our heads. If drug trade and terrorism are deal breakers for you, you know where to swipe. Oh, gameplay shift, find Alcarwan. Yes. They saw Alcarwan stop in front of a cigarette vending machine. Was he waiting for someone?
Sasayama reporting. Go ahead.
Just wanted a cigarette.
Sasayama reporting. I've got eyes on the mutt.
The mutt. Okay.
Mutt. Perpetrator. Hook. To put someone in cuffs. Dipper. Pickpocket. Wants. Outstanding warrants. Hang paper. To write multiple citations. And other such traditional police jargon.
Well, damn. I learned something new today. I ain't even no cop. Okay. Kano's partner had evidently been nearby.
You know what? That sounds exactly like what a cop would say.
Right. So If in the future, guys, if somebody calls you a mutt, you out on the street, now you know they're not calling
Run.
you a dog.
Run like a
Run.
bitch. I'm making the arrest.
I misread Dipper as diaper. Oh no,
Yep.
that's sad. There was a note of courage in Sasayama's voice. He came into view on the monitor, walking casually. Oh, at some point, he ditched this anime nerd costume for a cat mascot suit. Oh my god.
Look, it's Tama Part 2!
The mad lad did it. Oh no, Kano muttered. That getup's going to make Sasayama stand out like a sore thumb.
Shoot!
Although he kawaii as fuck.
He is. Shoot! The mutt spotted me! I'm going in pursuit!
Can you imagine this big ass katsu just trying to arrest
Just
you?
chasing after you.
Oh man. Sasayama slipped out of the camera's view.
Wow, like Five Nights at Freddy's has gotten a definite upgrade. Whoa!
Oh yeah.
What gives? Let go of me!
This is definitely Stanley's favorite show. Look at him.
Yeah. You're Mr. Yanagashita, right? Look, I'm sorry, but I really do need you to return that costume! Uh-oh.
Oh no, the voices came in over the wireless. It sounded like Sasayama was caught up in an argument with someone. Sasayama! Kano shouted SEI the monitor.
Kano, I need some help here! Requesting emergency backup!
The line went dead before Sasayama could finish. Kano didn't have the faintest idea what was going on, but obviously his partner needed him. I'm coming, babe! He rushed out of the precinct.
Look, there is no purer bond than this.
Yep, then a man in a catsuit
Mhm.
and his police buddy.
Mhm.
When he arrived on the scene, he saw Sasayama still in the catsuit, caught up in a scuffle with a man he'd never seen before. There was no sign of Alcarawan. Sasayama, what's going on?
That is an excellent question.
Sasayama replied.
This guy just came at me out of nowhere.
He sounded pretty riled up.
Sir, I need you to return this costume. My boss was very insistent on that point.
The man was panting with exertion, shouting in Sasayama's face. He was the owner of the suit? Was he the owner of the suit? What's the deal with that thing, Sasayama? Kano asked.
I bought it at a variety store on Center Guy. Figured it'd be a perfect disguise. I didn't steal anything. Sir, I'm telling you, you need to give that back. And I'm telling you, I've got no idea what you're on about.
Sasayama stamped his foot.
I realize that you're not Mr. Yanagashita. That isn't the issue. I just need you to return that costume. Alright, sure, I'll give it to you. I just need it a little longer, so let go of me. I can't do that, sir. I need you to get out of that suit right now. Yeah, I get that, buddy, but no can do. It's like I told you before. The zipper on this thing's snagged.
Oh no, he's stuck.
He's stuck.
Kano watched as the argument descended further and further into absurdity. Meanwhile, Alcarawan was getting away. God damn it. This was ridiculous. He turned to go in pursuit of the suspect.
Kano, wait!
Sasayama called out.
Come on,
Come
help me
on.
out, man.
Oh, you look so cute. I mean, huh?
Help me get this thing off.
Now really isn't the time for this, Kano replied. I'm going after the suspect.
Oh, I get it. You're gonna ditch me here so you can take all the credit for yourself.
Whoa, what?
I was this close to nabbing the guy. That arrest is mine to make, and you know it. Bitch.
It wasn't as though Kano couldn't empathize. If Sasayama hadn't been blindsided by this random stranger, he probably would have caught Alcarawan just fine. Alright then, Kano said. He reached out for the zipper on the back of the catsuit. But as Sasayama had said, the metal fittings were snagged and refused to budge.
Hurry up!
I'm trying! But there wasn't a time to do this. Slowly and carefully, Kano yanked down on the zipper hard.
Stop!
The stranger shrieked in alarm.
Don't be so rough like that.
But if I don't, it will never...
You mustn't. If you aren't careful, you'll cause a malfunction.
I'm not a furry, I don't know these things. Malfunction? What the hell was this guy talking about? Kano got an even firmer grip on the zipper and pulled again.
Meow.
He paused in surprise as Sasayama mewed.
Meow. By the way, I should point out there are cat noises happening. I'm just wanting to imitate the cat noises.
Kano, I'll just have to shoot the zipper with my gun.
Yeah, it looks like we're about there.
Again, Sasayama let out a little cry. Except it didn't sound like Sasayama's voice at all.
Guys?
Sasayama said.
There's something making a rumbling noise inside this thing.
He sounded pretty alarmed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit, said the other man.
It has started.
What? What has started? I'm scared. His face went pale.
What are you talking about?
Sasayama demanded.
What's started?
The man hesitated, then seemed to come to a decision.
Well, you see, this is no ordinary cat costume.
What the fuck? Meaning what exactly?
Our shop rented this unit out by mistake. Oh, I had no idea it was anything so horrifying, not until the boss filled me in a little while ago.
The Nya-apocalypse has come.
Yeah.
Listen, I would love to be there. I want to be part of the Nya-apocalypse. Anyway, what's horrifying? You're not answering the question. The man's gaze grew hollow and distant.
Cats.
He said. For a moment there was only silence. Then Sasayama spoke up nervously.
Well, yeah. It's a cat. I know that already. No, you're not listening. This is a cat. Like I said, I already know it's a cat. Anyone can see that from just looking at it. No, not a cat. Cats! Cats. A costume-as transmission system developed by Far East Costume Rentals high-tech department. There was an official corporate notice stating this is just a prototype and potentially dangerous, so do not lend it out under any circumstances, but it was accidentally rented by mistake.
What the hell? Okay.
I'm not going to fight with the cat noises this time. Just know, there are cat noises. Oh no, it's angry cat noises.
The meowing started back up again. With each new mew, the sound got faster. Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
God damn it. It's the neon cat. Soon it sounded less like a cat and more like some mechanism that was whirring about.
Uh-oh. That was a boom.
Oh no. He's gonna die. There was a sudden fierce, blinding flash. Space itself began to warp in a roughly 3-meter radius around Sasayama and his costume. Is he a magical girl? Wait, what the fucking... Wait, what? What is happening? A moment later, Kano and the others had vanished. Wait, what did I just experience just now? Oh
Cats.
no.
Alright, bad end number 35. Cats. Kano, Sasayama, and the rental guy were sent into another dimension due to a malfunction in the cats. Detective Sasayama should probably have never put that cat suit on. He mentioned buying it at a variety shop on Center Guide. That's your lead here. Okay, well, we know where we got rid of that costume, so I think we need to change what we did with it.
We're entering the Farmer Kano timeline.
I
Oh,
think we are
no.
out of that timeline completely. Okay. Where are we still in the cat suit? Okay, here we go. So we're going back to Maria's route. Alright, what should I do? So instead of having him get rid of the costume, I'm gonna deal with it myself. I
Yeah.
feel a little guilty about having him go out of his way for me more than he has already. Maybe I should deal with it myself. He looks a bit disappointed when I tell him that. I promise you, sir, for the fate of the world, it's better this way.
Yes, we don't want no cats to do no crazy shit on the police.
I buy the necklace for 30,000 yen and leave the knick-knack shop hauling the costume with me. But as I walk along, I start regretting my decision. I can't find a good place to throw the cat outfit away. Finally, I spot a convenience store that looks like it'll do just fine. One of the employees is out front cleaning out the trash can. Several large garbage bags line the side of the road. Perfect. Maybe I can have him toss out the costume along with everything else. Excuse me. So, I've got this old cat suit here. I figure it can't hurt to ask.
Yeah, I know.
The shop boy takes the costume from me. The shop boy is Tako Okado, 22-year-old getting on by part-time employment. Recently, after a number of employees quit in rapid succession, the owner hurriedly took on several new hires, but for some reason, instead of everyone chipping in on the cleaning, Okado always winds up stuck doing it.
Wow. You're here to throw this thing out. I got it.
He sounds wholly unsurprised. He accepts it so blithely that I actually feel bad.
It's been like this all morning.
He says,
I don't even care anymore. Just throw away what you need and be on your way, I guess.
It's been like what all morning?
I'm out here cleaning and people keep dumping trash on me. First it was this couple that up and threw a garbage bag at me.
That couple was Achiendo and Hitomi Osawa. The two have just run into a girl named Kanan.
And then after that, some homeless looking guy came by and took all his clothes off and left.
That was Detective Yuji Sasayama from the Shibuya precinct. At the moment, Sasayama is searching for a costume for his next disguise.
And like just now, some chubby girl tossed out some empty cardboard boxes and a bunch of empty bottles.
That must have been Chiri. She was probably drinking the burning hammer while she walked along.
So when you came by just now with this thing, I knew right away, yup, this again.
I'm sorry.
It's alright, 3 times, 4 times, what's the difference?
He flashes a bright smile, but it's clearly insincere. Then he looks at me more closely.
Huh? Aren't you the girlfriend of the dude who threw the bag of garbage at me?
What? Nope, not me.
Huh? Guess I'm misremembering then.
Well, anyway, thanks for your help with this. I give the guy a bow. Alright, and we have hit our save, so let's take a look. Alright, so that has not changed Maria's thing, but it has changed Kano's.
Thank God.
Yay!
We're not gonna die!
We're not gonna die, okay. So
Kama's
let's catch
the chosen one.
up.
Only she is the worthy of wearing the cat's suit without getting sent to another world.
Exactly.
Must be it. She's a magical girl.
Okay. Cigarette vending machine. Is he waiting? Sasayama. Okay, what's he dressed in now? I'm making the arrest.
Oh my god. He looks like he's cosplaying from freaking Hypnosis microphone. Or High Mic. God damn it. Yeah, at some point he ditched his anime nerd costume for another anime for a street dancer's getup. Didn't appear that Alcarwan had noticed him yet. And there he goes. Bit by bit, Sasayama closed the distance. He looks like grown-up Cody Hackins.
He's not wrong.
You right.
You right.
Anyway, Kano's hand balled into a fist as he watched. Come on, man. Go get him. And then something unexpected happened. Another man came running into view, right in the middle of the monitor.
That man is Teruo Toyama. While searching for Hana at Shibuya Gaigo, he was located by a duo of debt collectors and fled the scene. Hana left Gaigo to find him and ran into him here in Macho. The pair are heading towards Kolandori, trying to find a place to hide.
Oh, there he is. There's no sound, but he could see that the newcomer was shouting something. As Alcarwan turned around at the man, Sasayama launched himself into like a bullet from a gun. Oh. In an instant, Detective and the perp were locked in a violent scuffle right there on the street. Kano swallowed a lump up in his throat as he watched the struggle unfold. Look at Stanley judging everyone. Earlier in the day, Alcarwan had done a number on Sasayama, but this time, the detective had the upper hand. He got a grip on Alcarwan's neck and kneed him repeatedly. Alcarwan tried desperately to bring Sasayama to the ground, but Sasayama braced himself and avoided the takedown.
Go Sasayama!
You're doing great, sweetie. Then he shifted his stance and took Alcarwan to the pavement with a spectacular hip throw. Like Princess Peach. Anyway, yes. Every time I think of hip thingy, I just think of that move from Smash Brothers.
It's the butt bounce, and I love it.
The butt bounce. Yes. What a queen. Queens only. Okay. Yes! Kano clapped his hands together in excitement. Catching the perp in a scarf hold, Sasayama got out his handcuffs.
A scarf hold is a technique in judo. It involves wrapping an arm around the opponent's neck while performing an upper body pin.
Stanley, we should head over to the scene, Kano said. He looked away from the monitor for a mere moment, and then he looked back. Sasayama had released his hold and crumbled to the ground. What? Panicked, Kano stared at the image of his friend.
Uh-oh.
There was something jutting from Sasayama's abdomen. No!
Okay. I know we just had a bad end. This feels like a worse end.
This does! What the fuck? You can't kill my anime nerd.
He's...
Zoom in.
Remember, he's in love with his wife.
Right.
Like, he's so in love with his wife. What is his wife going to do if he dies?
This better not be another Full Metal Alchemist level shit, because I am not for another Mace Hughes level. Honey. No. Kano cried frantically. Zoom in. The camera closed in on Sasayama. Oh fuck, we finna lose it. Now Kano could see exactly what he'd feared. Sasayama had been stabbed in the gut. Blood pooled on the pavement around him. Kano screamed, Sasayama! Me too, though. The camera showed several other detectives arriving on the scene, capturing Alcarwan before he could escape. But Sasayama lay motionless. The pool of blood around him spread further and further across the pavement. Unable to look any longer, Kano rushed from the surveillance room to his babe. Okay, we can't lose him. He's the only relatable one.
And we've hit our to be continued.
No! Why is this the worst end? This is legit a worst end. I don't want him to die. Poor man.
Alright, well, looks like we've changed Minorikawa's... Oh, because we've changed Osawa. Okay, do we want to see this from Minorikawa's side or Osawa's side?
Osawa, because we haven't talked to him today. He needs some love.
Okay, sure. Let's do this. Da, 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 da. Okay. What? Osawa was so startled that his voice caught in his throat. What are you talking about? The antiviral research was top secret. So how did some detective from the Shibuya precinct know about it? Osawa was bewildered.
I'm the one asking your questions here, Mr. Osawa. Did you give the antiviral drug to your daughter Hitomi?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
I know that what the syndicate is really after, Mr. Osawa.
Osawa's mind went blank when he heard what Kano said next. He could give no reply.
Mr. Osawa,
The detective continued after a moment.
is everything alright?
Without really thinking, Osawa hung up. Look, if I end the call, my problem goes away, so therefore, goodbye. Osawa staggered out of the living room. He needed to be alone. To his surprise, Kajiwara didn't try to stop him. Shutting his study door behind him, he dropped onto his sofa, then grabbed 3 times his normal dosage of stomach pills. There was no water in the room, so he had to swallow them dry. Detective Kano's words echoed in his mind.
I know that syndicate is really after Mr. Osawa. It's Hitomi.
There was only one reason they could be after Hitomi. He broke out in a cold sweat as he began to understand what this kidnapping was really about. It had all started 6 days earlier.
6 days early.
It was April 22nd. Osawa had just returned from the United States the day before. He was in the midst of some routine work at the General Research Lab when his cell phone rang. The LCD display showed an unlisted caller. With some hesitation, Osawa picked up. Hello?
Is this Kenji Osawa?
The caller was using a voice modulator. A voice modulator is a type of device or software used to make one's voice sound different. Changing a voice to the point of making a voice print or tone analysis impossible presents a major challenge. To be able to do so in real time requires major financial and technological resources.
I am L.
Osawa raised an eyebrow. Yes?
Go on and analyze Hitomi's blood.
Her blood?
If you don't, she's going to die.
With that, the caller hung up. There was an intensity behind this that made Osawa sure it wasn't just some prank call. He had Hitomi come into the lab ASAP. He told Hitomi he wanted a sample of her blood for an experiment. She agreed, suspecting nothing. He placed some of the blood he'd drawn onto a glass slide, then added some fluorescent, a type of fluorescent dye. Fluorescent is a yellow-green liquid, a type of fluorescent dye chiefly used in preparing specimens for viewing under a fluorescent microscope, but it has other uses as well, such as a diagnostic reagent administered in eye exams. Its highest volume use is on St. Patrick's Day when massive amounts of fluorescent are used to dye the Chicago River green.
Oh, wow.
Fluorescent dye is a type of dye that causes the dyed substance to emit higher wavelength fluorescent light when illuminated with a certain other type of light. Such dyes can reveal fine details when used on specimens viewing through a fluorescent microscope. Placing the slide under a fluorescence microscope, he took a look. It can't be. Osawa could hardly believe his eyes. Wriggling under the microscope was the Grim Reaper's sickle itself. There was no mistaking it. Hitomi was infected with the WA virus. Trembling, Osawa hurried to his computer. He opened the WA virus folder on his monitor. Within were images showing the stages of the virus's propagation. He double-clicked to magnify the first image. The Reaper's sickles were interlocked with one another. He clicked on the next image. After further propagation, the WA virus looked less like a sickle, more like an insectoid larva. Next was the final image. Interlocked into a single mass, the WA virus vaguely resembled a sinister, many-petaled sunflower. It took a mere 12 hours for the pathogen to develop to this point and begin its hideous destruction of the human body. Hitomi's infection sample was still in the state shown in the first image. There was still a chance to save her. Osawa slumped back in his chair, huddling in on himself. He had no choice. There was only one way to save Hitomi. He would have to administer the nearly completed antiviral. Using the antiviral without official approval was a grievous violation of company policy. Violation of company policy means that you're acting against company rules and regulations. Okoshi Pharmaceutical prohibits leaking work-related information to outsiders. In the case of a major violation, not only can the violator be fired, but the company may also seek indemnities. Still, Osawa didn't have the time to get the higher-ups to approve a clinical trial. He might be punished severely for it, but this was his only option. His daughter's life was at stake. But there was also another, even bigger hurdle in his way. The antiviral drug was stored in the deepest recesses of the biochemical research building. A high-intensity X-ray scanner was set up at the entrance to the storage area. This made it impossible for him to take the research materials out. X-ray is a type of radiation, also referred to as Röntgen rays, with a shorter wavelength than UV light but a longer wavelength than gamma rays. Because X-rays can penetrate many objects with little absorption or scattering, they can be used to create images of internal structure. Hospitals, for instance, use X-rays technologies to examine the insides of patients' bodies, while security personnel use it to scan luggage at airports and to search for bombs. Well, if he couldn't get the antiviral out of there, he'd just have to bring Hitomi in. A course of action quickly took shape in his mind. First, he'd need to slip out of the general research building. He would then head to the biochemical research facility and show his ID card to the guard at the front gate. An ID card is an identification card. Many facilities that carry out highly classified research assign different levels of security clearance to individual researchers, and only those with suitable clearance, as indicated by their ID cards, are admitted to restricted areas. Development of more advanced technologies, such as electronic ID tags, are replacing older barcode-type entry cards. We're going into 3D now.
Oh yeah, we're going in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
After passing through a lobby under the watchful gaze of several security cameras, he'd reach an elevator at the end of the hall that went directly to the storage section. This elevator required an ID card scan to operate. And now we're going down.
Whee! To the virus place. Yeah. Ain't virus research fun?
It would take about 20 seconds to get down to the first basement level and arrive at the entrance to the storage area. Finding an excuse to get Hitomi that far ought to be doable. If the security guard got suspicious, Osawa could say it was for a top-secret hematology experiment, and the guard would probably believe him. The problem was what came after. I feel like we need spy music here.
Dun 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 dun.
Getting into the storage area itself required fingerprint authentication from both Osawa and Tanaka. This meant that he couldn't possibly get to the antiviral without Tanaka's cooperation. Desperate with uncertainty, Osawa called up Tanaka. He frantically explained the situation.
Understood.
Tanaka replied.
We need to get her this drug as soon as possible.
If the company finds out about this, you'll be held accountable for violation of corporate policy along with me. Are you sure you're okay with that?
What are you talking about? Hitomi's life is more important than a company policy.
Tanaka spoke without hesitation. Osawa felt an immense surge of gratitude for his assistant.
And I have to say, I'm deeply moved by your determination.
Tanaka added. Moved? Whatever for?
You really are worried about Hitomi.
Osawa's gratitude faded. What are you talking about? Of course I am.
My apologies. It's just that putting your career on the line for something so personal is...
It's what? It's not like me?
No, well, yes. I'm sorry.
Now Tanaka's voice was colored with embarrassment. What sort of person do you think I am? Osawa resisted the urge to ask the question out loud.
We're gonna spill that tea today?
Yeah. A short time later, Osawa and Tanaka stood before the door to the secure storage area. The security guard had let them in without the slightest suspicion. Osawa pressed his index finger to the fingerprint scanner first. Accepted. He realized he'd been holding his breath as his authorization finally went through. Half a moment later, Tanaka touched his own finger to the scanner plate. Accepted. The lock released with an audible clang, and the heavy door opened. Osawa hurried to retrieve the antiviral. As he picked up a small vial, he had a certain realization. They were finally going to use the drug in a human test. His fatherly wish to cure Hitomi was overlaid by an intense rush of curiosity, the researcher's drive to discover his results. Hurry. I need to hurry. I need to administer the antiviral as soon as possible. Osawa could hardly fend off his excitement. Over the course of the next few hours following the injection, the WA virus would be eradicated from Hitomi's body. There had been some fever and cramping as temporary side effects, but the DDS had done a spectacular job of stomping out the virus. DDS is a drug delivery system. Also known as a smart drug delivery, the ability to target a specific region of the body with a specific drug has momentous implications for the future of medicine. DDS technology is currently being tested extensively around the world. In saving his daughter's life, Osawa had proven the value of his research. If he had been asked which made him happier, he would have been hard-pressed to give an answer. Afterwards, he asked Hitomi where she could have become infected, but she had no idea. He explained the need for secrecy and strictly forbade her telling anyone else what had happened. Now a week had passed since Osawa gave the drug to Hitomi. He'd been conducting checks and had discovered that the DDS had not broken down, but remained in Hitomi's bloodstream. Extracting the DDS was a simple matter, requiring just a small blood sample from around the nape of the neck. The DDS tends to linger in the nape of the neck because of the lymph nodes located there. These lymph nodes identify viruses that invade the body as foreign substances to be attacked, but they're not always able to overcome particularly powerful pathogens. In such cases, the virus propagates rapidly inside of them. Once the patient has been treated, the antiviral will seek out the virus and accumulate there as well. The DDS itself was simply the delivery system for the antiviral drug. Residual amounts of the antiviral itself stayed behind within the cells. The materials used to create the DDS must, as a matter of course, cause minimal or no harm to the human body. Ideally, rather than accumulate inside the body, DDS substances should either be digested and absorbed or excreted. Because the antiviral must remain in the body for as long as the virus is active, however, a very careful balance must be struck between persistence and dissipation. Using the DDS, it was possible to extract those minuscule amounts from cells in a blood sample. It might take considerable time, but a sufficiently detailed analysis could allow for the antiviral drug itself to be reconstructed. Osawa felt a chill as he contemplated the situation. The kidnappers had known how tough security was at the lab, so they'd come up with the idea of using a human vessel to get what they needed from within. By infecting Hitomi with the WA virus, they'd ensured that she'd receive the antiviral, that she'd have it in her blood. If Tanaka was working with the kidnappers, that explained why he'd been so cooperative about the fingerprint scanner. Damn it! Osawa shouted. He clutched his head in his hands. Tanaka had been his partner and trusted confidant for years. Osawa refused to believe he'd been betrayed like this. The front door chime sounded.
Oh, damn. Mr. Osawa,
Kachiwara called out.
it appears you have a visitor. Could you handle that?
And it looks like we have the jump for Minorikawa. Who could it possibly be now of all times? Alright, we gonna tell him to deal with it himself, or are we gonna go meet with our guest?
Let's see. Wait, Osawa, I'm gonna revolutionize the medical field and get to be a good father at the same time. Score!
Yeah,
Yes.
it backfired.
It did. They said they want us, to deal with it.
They want us to deal
you
with
deal
it?
with it.
Oh, you deal with it?
No, you deal with it.
You deal with it. Osawa was in no state of mind to receive a guest.
I can't do that, sir.
Kachiwara said firmly.
We can't let the kidnappers learn that there were detectives here.
Then have I take care of it, Osawa told him. Kachiwara headed off.
Fine.
Right now, Osawa just wanted some time to think by himself. Was Tanaka really one of the kidnappers? But if he was after the antiviral, he'd had plenty of opportunity to get his hands on it when they gave it to Hitomi. Hadn't he? Was that really what these people wanted after all? The answers seemed to evade him at every turn. Unable to think of what else to do, he tried the internet fortune teller again. He got the same, "you're a very work-minded person" result a second time. If you don't get over your indifference to the world might start to harbor quite a grudge. My indifference to the world around me, huh? The truth was that even with his closest companions, even with Tanaka for instance, his relationship had always been strictly a matter of business. He'd never really taken it upon himself to get to know Tanaka as a person, and that was pretty much the case for everyone he knew. He harbored no interest in other people. He had no concern for his fellow man. That had made itself abundantly clear when he received a microscope as a birthday present way back in first grade. Even now, he still remembered the shock he'd felt when he looked through that lens for the first time. He'd discovered a new, almost infinite world hidden in the midst of one he'd always thought was too small. By comparison, the real world seemed bland and ugly. Wherever he looked, wherever he went, he had to contend with tedium. It hadn't taken long for him to become more charmed by the world under his microscope than the one around him. It was like a calm, quiet little seaside, a beach where he could just sit and stare out at the waves. He wanted to stay immersed in that world forever and ever. Before he knew it, he was an adult, and then a husband, and then a father. The people around him had thought him an odd fellow, but he hadn't let that change the way he lived his life. And this, now, was the result. He hadn't been betrayed by Tanaka. He didn't know Tanaka well enough for that. Find a way to connect more deeply with the people around you and start living a better life before it's too late. Just do that, and you're sure to have a wonderful future ahead.
It's too late. It's too late.
Osawa picked up his cell phone and dialed Tanaka's number. I had tried calling him repeatedly, and that hadn't gotten through. It was doubtful that he'd pick up. Still, Osawa had to try. The phone rang several times. He listened grimly to the empty mechanical sound, preparing himself for disappointment.
What is it?
Tanaka's voice sounded coldly in Osawa's ear. The tension was electric. And we have hit a keep out.
Oh, shit.
Shit has gone down, man.
We are betrayed.
All right. So we're going to end here for tonight, and we will wrap this up next time. Yeah. So next stream is Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We should be back to Phoenix Wright. We are just not doing it today because today is Lemur's birthday. So she's taking the night off. Yeah. Happy birthday to Lemur. And yeah, so she should be back on Thursday, and yeah, we will see you guys then.
Yeah.
Have a good night. Wash your hands, wear a mask, get vaccinated, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah. Have a good one. Bye.